What's up, everybody, man? It's your boy, Mr. Dugan, coming at y'all with another video, man. And today I am going to preview and predict, the huge AFC championship game on Sunday between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New England Patriots, yo. Last week, man, the Kansas City Chiefs, man, took on the Indianapolis Colts in a game that I thought the Colts, could have gone there and get the job done, but bruh, did I underestimate this team, yo? Patrick Mahomes, man, when he came into the league, bruh, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a huge believer in him like that. For one, the Big 12 has a history of quarterbacks who's come into the league and not done very well. And not to mention he was in like a very throwing the ball type of offense, an offense that just threw it all over the field. And not to mention Texas Tech didn't really win anything. Uh, was I wrong about him? Now, granted, it's just year one, but I didn't take into account that, Andy Reid, man, if one thing I know, there's the history of him choking in the playoffs and time management and all these other things, but Andy Reid could coach quarterbacks, man. Is quarterbacks under Andy Reid's tutelage usually do very well, yo. Like, I didn't take that into account. And yes, there's some things about Mahomes where there's some bad habits that he have. But my goodness, man, this guy is in command of the huddle, and he is extremely talented, yo. I was just dead wrong about Patrick Mahomes, man. And last week, you thinking like, well, maybe the game is the playoffs, maybe the game gonna be too big for him. No, sir. No, sir. He out there, he doing everything he did all year long, yo. He's slinging the ball sidearm to people, throwing people open. He has a cannon for arm. He's moving around. He's throwing on the run. He's running in touchdowns. I mean, this guy is just absolutely sensational, yo. Like, then you got Tyreek Hill just blazing speed, man. As you could have seen last week on the end around play when he took that thing 36 yards for a touchdown. Damian Williams last week, yo, taking the place of Kareem Hunt. He had over 100 yards rushing and a touchdown last week. Darrell Williams had a touchdown rushing last week. Not to mention Patrick Mahomes ran a touchdown in. And their defense surprisingly played very well last week against the Colts. They got good pressure on Andrew Luck. They covered up the receivers. They did a very good job last week, the Kansas City Chiefs, as it's well documented that their defense, for the most part this season, hasn't been very good. But last week against the Indianapolis Colts, those guys stepped up and they earned themselves a home playoff game to go to the Super Bowl. And when you look at the New England Patriots last week, another thing I was wrong about. I mean, the Patriots looked very stagnant and very toward the end of the year. And the Los Angeles Chargers was coming in extremely hot, extremely talented. They got players everywhere. I'm like, yo, they could get the Patriots. But Tom Brady proves again, like, yeah, okay, don't you see these five Super Bowl rings ain't taught you nothing, huh? Like you still over there doubting me, and I got five rings, huh? You still don't you get it by now? It don't matter how I look in the regular season. When playoff time come, I am going to be the best version of myself. I guess I still ain't learned. Even though my Eagles beat them in the Super Bowl last year, yeah, granted we had the strip sack and great play by us, and he dropped that pass. We ain't beat them. It wasn't his fault we beat him. Like, he had 500 yards passing, yo. I mean, 41 years old for this man to still be out there. Man, the way that he picked apart the Chargers last week, oh my goodness, yo. Then they got this rookie, Sony Micheal, who stepped in with over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. And their defense played very well last week against a Chargers offense with talent everywhere. Chargers had talent everywhere offensively, and the Patriots still came in there and stifled them and shut them down. To where we are now, man, Kansas City Chiefs, New England Patriots, AFC Championship game. These two teams met earlier this season. on a Sunday night game over there in Foxborough, and Chiefs came in there undefeated. Chiefs came into that game undefeated. Patriots got out to a solid lead, but Chiefs came storming back. Granted, they had Kareem Hunt in this game, and they don't have him no more, and that's a big loss for them. But that was the game when, like, Mahomes showed everybody, like, I am not intimidated at the moment. I am not intimidated. You know, their defense let them down that night. But Brady was spectacular that night also. He even ran for a touchdown that night. You know, Gronk was doing some things. You know, now they did. Granted, the Chiefs had Kareem Hunt that they no longer had, but the Patriots also had Josh Gordan, who they no longer have also. So it kind of evens itself out a little bit when it comes to that. But on the Patriots got to win in probably one of the most exciting games of the season, 43-40. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, like I said, offensively, O-line is okay. Eric Fisher I think was a Pro Bowler this season. You know, I can't say enough about Patrick Mahomes. I think he led the league in yards and touchdown passes. I think he's gonna win the MVP this season. You know, they have a big loss with Kareem Hunt, man. But granted, the Chiefs did the absolute right thing. You have to let him go. By no circumstances should you put your hands on a woman. But Damian Williams, he did good last week, but you know, it's still a little doubt to see if he could continue doing that going forward. Their receiving core, you know, you got Tyreek Hill. I mean, what can you say about him? The guy is probably the fastest player in the whole NFL. And not only that, like Andy Reid uses him in so many different ways. And he's also becoming a complete receiver where he's not just running fly patterns and go routes. You know, he's running slants, he's running outcuts, he's running dig routes, he's running everything. Also with going in motion on jet sweeps and running jet sweeps. You know, Sammy Watkins came back last week and gave them a very good game. And then you got Travis Kelce, who is arguably right now the best tight end in all of football. Defensively, they struggled. They've given up a lot of points and a lot of yards this season, but they could get after the quarterback with players like Justin Houston, you know, and Chris Jones. In the back end, you know, they do struggle a little bit in that secondary, man. It's yet to be known if Eric Berry will play this game. Even if he does, he hasn't quite really been his Eric Berry self. You know, he's still a little banged up back there. But yeah, granted, they got an offense that could score in it. They basically a Big 12 team. They basically Texas Tech. They could score on anybody and basically can't stop nobody. But they did play great defensively last week against the Colts. And then when you look at the New England Patriots, man, I mean, does it even matter who's on the offensive line? I mean, they lost Nate Solder. They had a first-round rookie draft pick, I think Isaiah Wynn or something like that got hurt. They got some people out there that you don't really know much of. But Brady gets the ball out of his hands so quick and he's so decisive that it doesn't matter who's blocking him. And obviously they have definitely the most accomplished quarterback of all time, arguably the best quarterback of all time in Tom Brady. Now they have Sony Micheal, who looking pretty doggone good out there, gives them a solid run game. You have James White out the backfield who catches everything on everybody. You still could throw Rex Burkhead out there. You know, on the outside, you still have Julian Edelman, who is one of the most crafty slot receivers in the game. You have Chris Hogan on the outside. Cordero Patterson is stepping up. Philip Dorsett is stepping up. And, you know, Gronk, he's not really the 20-20 tight end that he was last year and years past, but he's still a pretty doggone big threat, especially in the red zone out there with Rob Gronkowski. Defensively, you know, they got Malcolm Brown down there in the middle, you know, Dante Hightower in the secondary, you know, which is the strongest part of their defense with guys like Stephon Gilmore, who was an all-pro, you know, Devin McCarty and those guys. They played well, man. They played really well last week. As far as whenever the Chiefs have the ball going up against the Patriots defensively, I think the key to the Chiefs is not turning over the football. Not turning over the football, man. Mahomes, that's what he struggles with. The one areas that he does have, he'll be careless with the ball at times. Most of the time, he gets away with it. But the key to the Chiefs is not only is taking care of the football and finding and getting a little more and getting some more consistency out of Damian Williams and Darrell Williams like they got last week. As far as the Patriots, is forcing turnovers. You know, down the field, I don't really think the Patriots could stop them. But if they could get Mahomes to make, if Bill could come up with a scheme that could force Mahomes to throw into coverage and make bad decisions, I think that's where the Patriots could get him, is forcing him to make bad decisions. Other side of the ball, man, when you look at the Patriots on offense against the Chiefs defense, it's protecting Tom Brady. Because, I mean, quite honestly, the Chiefs, unless they sack Brady, the Chiefs should not be able to stop this offense. Like, the Chiefs should not be able to stop the Patriots offense. It's the AFC Championship game. This is what Tom Brady does. So as long as the Patriots protect Brady, you know, they should feel good. And the Chiefs is Justin Houston and Chris Jones. They got to get after Brady. If they could get after Brady, they give their defense a shot to really pull this thing off. Which leads to my prediction. It's a part of me that wants to see Andy Reid finally get, even though it's not with us, especially since Dougie P got us on last year. It's a part of me that wants to see Andy Reid finally get over the hump, finally get back to the Super Bowl with a chance to win one. He has the perfect quarterback for his system, his scheme. You know, he has great weapons on the outside. But man, this is Tom Brady, man. This is Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game with the Super Bowl on the line, going up against a guy who hasn't been in this position before. I can't go against Brady in this game, man. I see scenarios where the Chiefs can win, but and the way they played, the way the Patriots played last week, man, I mean, and yeah, I got the Patriots in this game, yo. Too many weapons, Tom Brady, and I think defensively they're gonna do just enough to pull this thing out. I got the Patriots winning this game. I got a shootout in this one. I got another shootout. I'll go Patriots 38, Chiefs 35, yo. And Patriots will get back to the Super Bowl again for a third consecutive season. But with that being said, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Appreciate y'all checking out the video. Go and give me a subscribe, man. I'm gonna have NFL content throughout the season. Y'all have a blessed one. Fly, Eagles, fly.